quote request.
Hello and welcome back.
Are we really? We're on now? Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Thank you, Microsoft.
So, just to give you a little bit of what we just had to deal with, one of our topics for the day is getting to it, because it was actually one of the last topics. Windows Update will never junk punch you in the middle of gaming ever again. By that I mean there will be no interruptions, regardless of what you're doing, like when you're streaming in a studio. So that's what just happened. Windows tried to update and then restart to resume the update. We had to step in and tell Windows, bad. And here we are. So welcome back.
It was like a kid trying to steal a candy bar.
Or worse, it wasn't a kid, it was just a 45-year-old man trying to pretend he was a kid.
Wow.
So
That's
there's that.
some freaky stuff.
I can't even remember what we were in the middle of talking about.
I believe...
Zenleak?
Zenleak, yeah, that's right.
The Zenleak.
The Zen
Well,
leak. The leak of Zen.
if you didn't have enough Zen, now you have even more Zen for your Zen.
I think
Zen squared.
I think I'm feeling full Zen right now. Are you feeling full Zen?
I have to now. So I believe I was responding to Raruto's claim that it would be a 10 to 15% increase, right? Per clock?
Yeah.
And that's about right, as opposed to Coffee Lake. I just hope that they bring the bacon. And it's honey maple bacon. So everybody enjoys it. And share it amongst everyone. Who would say no? Not me.
Definitely not me.
Yeah. But we are going to talk about the fact that Elon Musk was not fired.
No,
No.
he wasn't.
He's still a part of the company. He just can't be a chairman. Elon Musk stand down from chairman of Tesla. You hear what I did there?
I hear what you did there, but
Did it give you cancer?
Yes, it did.
Good.
But why is he chairman in the first place as opposed to Stulman?
Probably because people like to step on the backs of stools, and Elon don't roll that way. He steps on the backs, not vice versa.
Okay.
I mean, he does have to pay the SEC. Well, Tesla has to pay the SEC $20 million just for them to move along program. And I mean, for Tesla and for Elon Musk especially, that's chump change. But they rely so much on Elon Musk to drive their company and their innovations that they're not going to let him go. At least not yet. They're not going to pull a Steve Jobs. That's for sure. Or they're not going to pull an Apple to Steve Jobs, I should say.
Although it is kind of a big concern with how much people have been getting irritated with him over at Tesla as of late. You know, him.
I think he has a strategy.
I think so.
Between him going on Joe Rogan's show and drinking whiskey and smoking pot, and claiming that he was going to take the company private, which is responsible for what brought them to where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a plan. I feel he's got a plan.
I think so too. The amount of stuff he's been doing as of late can't be without a reason.
Right.
Like he hasn't been this publicly, I wouldn't say outspoken, but active before. So something's going on to make him do all this stuff as of recent. You know, tweeting about taking Tesla private, going on Joe Rogan, you know, all that stuff. Something's got to be going on. Now, him stepping down as chairman is going to affect Tesla a good bit. Like Joe said, you know, he is kind of at the helm there. I mean, well, he is at the helm. He's the CEO. What's so funny?
Corey on Facebook said he's leaking Zen. Just leaking it. Hi, Corey.
Hi, Corey.
Thanks for joining us, man. So, Elon Musk, by the way, for him having to step down as chairman, they had to appoint 2 people in his place. 2 people.
2 people.
2.
That's how much he's been working.
Now, that's what I'm just saying. That's to them. That is how many ordinary. I wouldn't say ordinary, but high-end engineers. They are needed to replace Elon Musk's shoes on the chairman and board of directors, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That's insane. If I were Elon, I'd take that as a compliment. I think you could take it. Take that seat.
I feel like it's going to be a little bit easier for him though, because now he's going to have fewer responsibilities. He can kind of focus on being a CEO as opposed to a chairman. Maybe he won't be able to take the company in the exact direction he wants to.
Maybe.
But he was claiming that this past year has been the most stressful year of his career, so maybe that'll give him an opportunity to kind of lower that stress level.
Sure.
Get back to the point where he needs to be because...
Take a vacay to Mars, for example.
Because he should be able to go back on the board. I think it was 2 years, they said.
2 years. And he has ridiculously high restrictions into things that he can and can't do.
Yeah. So he can take like a 2-year, I wouldn't say hiatus, but like kind of like a break and be back on the board after that and take Tesla where he wants to take it. So
I mean, I kind of hope he breaks off from Tesla at some point. I have a feeling like most things, when you build a company and it grows to that magnitude and it becomes public, then it's no longer just about what you want, it's about what they want. By they, I mean board of directors. Everybody has a financial stake in the company. They want their voice heard. They want their decisions made in consensus. And so it's really no longer Elon's company. He's driving it. Yeah. But I'm sure there's been decisions made.
He's driving it.
Or is he not driving it because it's driving itself?
I think his future lies in... I think his future lies in SpaceX, honestly.
Say that 3 times fast.
I think his future lies in SpaceX. I think his future...
I was just referring to SpaceX.
Oh. Okay. Well, I made it harder on myself.
Woo! This is what happens after Windows tries to update in the middle of a live stream.
Yeah.
You lose your face.
Well, anywho.
Speaking of losing face, what did Amazon do recently, Gerard?
Well, they jumped the gun a bit. They listed the 9,900K on Amazon, and boy, oh boy, is that price.
Woo! Hot down!
$582 for a 15% performance increase over the competing AMD chip, which is like $250 less.
Hey, I'm going to let you finish, but I'm just going to say Threadripper has the best packaging of all time.
Yeah, that's a little bit coincidental. The packaging does kind
of... It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
If it was D&D edition, if that were D&D edition, I'd buy it just to have it. If it had a dragon on it somewhere, or maybe even like a bard or a gnome.
I'm with you. I think we could take a bunch of them and just play D&D in the parking lot, you know.
Just roll it. Like, man, I wonder if I can get away with overclocking this. I don't know. Roll the Intel box for luck.
Yeah.
0. You're not going to get anything on that. All right.
Get Sean like a wizard hat.
Yes. Yeah. Get him wizard. Get him a wizard hat. Please. Please do. You see, I get a wizard hat. Sean gets a wizard hat. I get clock radio. He gets clock radio.
I get iPod Touch. He cannot afford.
No. But I get screen made of a glass. He gets a screen made of a glass.
Anywho, back on the topic at hand. So the $582 price tag isn't necessarily confirmed. But
$582 price tag. Why $582.50? Why not a cool $580 or a $590?
Or better yet, an actual competitive price, because we all know Intel needs it with their shortages that are coming up, and with AMD catching up in market share.
Wow.
So what they're I don't know. This isn't a confirmed price. This is just what was listed on Amazon. But it does sound about right to what Intel would price the CPU at, especially with the shortages that are currently going on.
Yes.
So I think while they do need to make money off of it, they're going to be shooting themselves in the foot ultimately. I think we're going to see another 8086 situation where not many people buy it. It's going to be a nice CPU, don't get me wrong. It's going to have a soldered heat spreader, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
But for the price, you know, comparing it to the 2700X and then the Ryzen 2 coming out,
yeah,
no one's going to want to buy that.
So, Regulus, nice to see you back.
Yeah, how's it going?
It says this is in relation to Elon. Has been constantly attacked and a problem since the attack on the diver. Yeah. And Maruto stating that Raja at AMD was replaced by two-piece Radeon. Very true. So I mean, we see similar trends within the industry. It's just interesting to see. And yeah, Elon's probably going to keep his stocks for Maruto. There was no, he didn't have to give up anything other than pay the fine for trying to manipulate the stock market essentially by making those claims on Twitter and then redacting them. Regulus has stated that he's spent a lot of time with him. He's never really been stable. Well, I know people have stated that he's on medication. It's that sleeping medication, and it's escaping me. It's very popular.
Oh, man. I almost said heroin. Ritalin?
What? No, what is it? Dude, it's this nighty-night medication that also makes you go, woohoo!
Percocet? No.
What? Clonopin?
Clozapam.
Zazapan?
Clonazepam. Or
Snatchapan.
whose pan?
Is it? And now I gotta Google Elon
Clonazepam,
Musk
I'm pretty
medication. Medication. If he were to watch the stream, he would not appreciate it. Ambien.
Ambien.
Ambien. Sorry, Shannon. Shannon said it 3 times. I didn't hear a damn thing, so I guess it's right. So he's on Ambien, and that has a lot of people and has had a lot of people concerned. So maybe that has something to do with it. But you got to understand, the way history has repeated itself with people who are genius or on genius level, they are never like straight and narrow normal individuals.
Oh no, look at Steve Jobs.
No, this is a guy that created a company by the name of Apple because the man legit believed that all human beings should eat are fruits and vegetables. He also did a lot of acid, by the way.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, that was brought up in at least 4 different like documentaries or recreative movies of Steve Jobs. He also didn't give a damn about his kids until later in life. And even then, like, his kids have come out and said that some of the lessons he's taught them when they were like teenagers were a little unorthodox. Some of the things, entirely separate topics that I do not even wish to touch on, no pun intended. Naruto, 2nd Gen Zen, will have LED boxes with Intel come out with their RGB LED box. Probably, yeah. But
Probably.
that's just a waste of money, and then maybe that's where the $582 price tag is coming from, because they put so much money into developing the box. They were like, someone's got to pay for this.
It's
not going to be us.
Ruda brings up a good point. I think they're pricing it to not eat into the X399 Cascade Lake profits. I think that is a good thought, and it's highly plausible. But the thing is, the big thing with X399 and that platform has always been the extra RAM capacity, not necessarily the core count, but usually it's been the extra RAM capacity. So I don't know, that's kind of hit or miss, but I that is a good point, and that might be why.
They're just trying to seal the market. Get it?
You can get out now.
See you later, everybody. Bye. Oh, you can still see my face. Kind of on a similar subject, if you want to talk about people that took a dump on their listings, Newegg Canada accidentally listed Z390 board pricing.
They did.
Yeah, they did. And see you later. I see what you did there. And there is not a single board in the Z390 from MSI to Asus to Gigabyte to even Zotac. There is not a single board that is under $200. Not one. I know the Z series boards, those are enthusiast level, those are high end, they're performance oriented, but nothing cheaper than $200. I mean, there's tons of Z370 boards right now from all manufacturers that are like $150, $160, $170, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing cheaper than $200. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing.
Or, I mean, is it dissipating? Because the whole reason why the Z390 boards are coming out anyway was to improve power phase performance and VRM cooling to keep up with the reported method in which these new CPUs that Intel is releasing require those things. So, is that where the money's coming from?
I mean,
do consumers care about that? Do they know? I mean, they could, but they shouldn't, but they will, and they might buy these boards.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, pricing has been kind of off as of late on what?
You.
Realistically, pricing has been kind of off as of late on the Intel side of things. So it's not really too terribly shocking that the boards are going to be that pricey, but at the same time, it's like you kind of expect better.
Yeah.
Like back to the whole point of them experiencing stiff competition now from AMD for the first time in years. You'd think they kind of would realize.
Maybe. You would hope they would.
Yeah.
I mean, Regulos has said that one thing about the i9 versus the Ryzen 2 is you're forgetting is heat and power consumption. Ryzen 2, you could cook or roast. I mean, you stumbled into the stream, and that's okay, Regulos. We're happy to have you. I stumble into most things, and I'm still alive, and I still have a job. So it's okay. It's called life.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're not wrong. And that's what excites me, Regulos, about the 7nm process, to see if that's a problem that maybe AMD can solve or not. Maybe they'll just take the 7nm process and they'll turn it into a mini griddle. Only time will tell.
Maybe just like a George Foreman grill, put a heatsink on top and
knocks
cook on the bottom.
The fat. Knocks out the clock.
Regulo says
speed.
Regulo says pricing isn't stopping people as well. 23% increase from NVIDIA at double the price, and people are still buying like hotcakes. That's very true.
Double the price!
That's very true, but it's like a dog. You can only hit it so much until it bites you back.
Let's not beat the dead horse of the pricing wars that is NVIDIA and the RTX.
So
Please, let's not beat that dead horse.
So if NVIDIA keeps, if NVIDIA and Intel keep beating people over the head with these bad prices, eventually it's going to get to a point where people are just going to stop, or not necessarily stop buying products, but slow down with buying their products. And then they're going to have to drop pricing again. It's a cycle that renews itself every, 5 years, would you say, Joe?
Just about.
Yeah. So
I would say.
It's not surprising, and we're approaching that 5-year mark, so it's not very shocking.
No. But we will see.
We will.
So we're going to kind of slide away from tech news and into AVA news. Something very excited. I, for one, am super excited about. AVADirect is going to be at ITSEC. For those of you that don't know what ITSEC is, it is the Industry Training Simulation and Education Conference. So it is the largest related conference in the world. Okay, we will present a lot of new solutions that we've been working on for the past year, right? A lot of them are VR oriented. We'll be there with our partners such as HTC and NVIDIA showcasing said MUVR system. MUVR is an acronym. Some people call it MUVR. We like to call it the Mover system because of what it's dedicated to do, but it's a multi-user virtual reality platform. And what this does is it allows you to use more than one headset within a single system. I would tell you more about it, but not so fast. That's company secret. It's proprietary information, which we hold close to the vest. But we will say that it works beautifully in the sense that right now, per system, you have up to 4 people, but that can scale. So if we wanted to introduce more systems into a platform, we could do 8 users, 12 users, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, you get it. Scale's a number of 4. It doesn't have to be a number of 4. So if you wanted to do 7 people, it's still 2 systems, but it gets the job done. And actually, ITSEC is the Information Technology Security Evaluation Criteria as well, what some people are saying. That's a different ITSEC, all right? This is a conference. Let's be adults about this. Really. Cool thing is we're also going to have a couple of our clients that attend ITSEC on a yearly basis. We have Boeing, we have the Army, we have Navy, we have Lockheed Martin. Can't really discuss a whole lot about what we do for them, but we will say that it is in the industry of image generation. And image generation, you would think, is just as simple as providing an image that is generated on screen, right? Wrong! Image generation is basically simulation. You generate an image in a large scale that is photorealistic in a manner that they use for training. So consider that. We will have a booth there, of course. We're not just going. We're going to demonstrate all this fun stuff. So you should stop by if you're going to ITSEC. If you're not going to ITSEC, well, you should go to ITSEC and you should say, hello. Real quick, jumping back to what Regulus is saying. Not beating a dead horse, everything you've done is complain about massive price increases. Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, but isn't everybody?
Yeah.
Right now, that's like the topic of discussion, so that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It affects everybody. It affects all of us. It's more money coming out of our hard-earned wallets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of warranted to complain about.
Plus, this is kind of a mode of my venting. So maybe, for all you know, I don't complain about price increases during the day in my normal time. Then I get on here, why? My wallet, products, money, blah. I know you're right. It's not stopping anybody, and for one, it's not going to stop me, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm still going to buy this stuff. I'm going to wait until kind of the RTX cards mature a little bit, and I will legitimately probably buy an RTX 2080 Ti. Why? Because I want one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing I'm doing. I'm waiting for them to become, stock fulfilled in, like Newegg and Amazon, and well, probably not Newegg because I don't want my password to be stolen, as we discussed last week. But
yes, please no. And then it's hard to say go Amazon because we all know the way that CEO treats his employees to get those prices down smaller.
Yeah.
So there's that. But they have a monopoly. Oh, Amazon just raised the minimum raise to $15. You mean minimum wage? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not flipping burgers though. I've known people that work at Amazon, and their standards in terms of your turnaround for the type of work you have to do, it's ridiculous. and you'll legit get written up if you can't keep up after a while. It's like, I knew somebody that worked in the warehouse, and you had to pick 350 items an hour. And by pick meaning you take them, you put them in bins that qualify them as their items. So you're like, okay, this is bathroom stuff. This is electronics. I don't know how generic it goes, but legit 350 items an hour. So to Amazon, it doesn't matter if 7 out of those 8 hours you picked 360. If there was 1 hour you only picked 320, you got to keep up, man. Them's the rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. That's how Amazon feels about it.
Yeah.
And then Rudo. So can we get those Kingsman hologram meetings within 3 years? I wish. That'd be cool. And it's also Star Wars too. Star Wars did that. Just it was augmented. It wasn't you put on glasses and here they are. But Microsoft is kind of doing that with their HoloLens now. I just don't want to pay $3,000 for it. It's not worth it. Bring those glasses down to $100 and then maybe I'll be interested in talking to a hologram body in my living room. Maybe.
So on to other AVA news. AVA game streaming. We're doing that now. It's a thing. So
is it?
It is.
Since when? When did we start doing this?
Since this past week.
Oh!
So every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, and I believe Facebook. We'll be streaming at 2:24, 2:25 Eastern Standard Time, somewhere around that time usually. We'll have we'll have a set selection of games that our coworkers and employees will choose from. That they can play, with each other.
Yes.
That includes 2 people.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily a set, schedule of people. We alternate. It's fun. There's always variety.
Yeah. People are paired preliminarily to either provide an enjoyable viewing experience or great gameplay.
Yep. And it switches around. It's great.
Yeah. So far, I enjoyed the Overwatch stream that we did with Wesley and Joe. That was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching that. And then the one yesterday was pretty fun because I know nothing about League at all. I've had no interest in it. And just hearing Parker and Travis speak on the way in which they were going to proceed with their campaign, I didn't understand half of it because they were talking about specific characters and features in the game.
Right.
But it was great it's kind of like World of Warcraft-esque where you're like, okay, how are we going to approach this? Well, I can go in there with my debuff, but you got to have your pull ready, otherwise it's not going to work. And then they go in and be like, nope, didn't do it. Yep, I'm dying. Fart. Essentially. So tune in, again, what Gerard was saying, tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, now in stock, RTX 2080 Ti cards, Regulos. Stock tracker. Woo! But, really? Our free NVIDIA RTX 2080 Ti series in stock tracker can help. I can't tell if you're just copy and pasting that because that's what you found or if you're legit you work for now in StockNet and you're trying to sell us on that solution. Because I've known it now in StockNet for a long time and they helped me get my Super NES Mini. So thank you.
Now in StockNet is handy.
It is.
It's very handy.
Actually, it takes all the guesswork out so you don't have to be handy. No? Anyways, last bit in our AVA news is our Brimstone system. We've talked about our Brimstone system now for a while, and it is basically the counterpart to our AVA Avalanche, in the sense that the AVA Avalanche is in the mountains, in the cold Alps, where things are windy and cold to keep your system crisp and running. Brimstone is in the depths of hell, where it is fiery and hot, in the sense of performance, but not temperatures. We'd never ship anything out that was on fire.
Hence the liquid cooling.
Yes. It's a theme, man, all right? Brimstone is supposed to be like, the Satan to your Jesus. Or it's just the AMD variant to our Intel-based Avalanche, but still. We even laser etch these neat little flames in the side panel. The eye is actually candle flame, if you're paying attention to the detail. If you're not, all right, it's there. Now, specs include, but are not limited to, AMD Ryzen processors, AMD Vega graphics cards. Of course, we have your typical M.2 SSDs. We selected Samsung for our M.2 SSDs. You have your auxiliary storage or hard disk for your raw data. Seagate was the weapon of choice for that one. And then, of course, there's a couple of other cards that you can add into if you see fit. The liquid cooling system is really the only thing that is set in stone that you can't change because we put a lot of R&D into it, making sure that it was going to provide the best liquid cooling performance possible, regardless of what you put in the system. And of course, yes, it is hardline tubed. Our own technician, Zach Finelli, in which you have seen featured on the live stream from time to time, is the one that engineered the design of all those hardline tubes. So for anybody that knows Zach, or if you don't, make sure you thank him for all of his hard work. He deserves it.
And it's a phenomenal job, too. It's some of the best hardline work that I've seen in a while.
I watched him lay out 3 full system build sets of tubes, and what that means is that he would have a full set of tubes that you can complete the system with here, and then a second set, and then a third set, because he was trying to mix and match and determine which looked best. And it took him like a good 2 days of doing that back and forth before he was like, that's good. Because he'd put one together, he'd run benchmarks on it, and he'd check like flow levels, and he would check the temperatures and where they were at, and it was kind of a balance between the two. And he actually ended up going for the one that provided the best performance, but also looked the most aesthetically pleasing.
And the tubing work it's beautiful. It's simplistic, and it's not overly flashy, but it's not too simplistic to where you can't have, a nice view of it.
That's right.
It's honestly, it's wonderful work.
It could be a professional PC. Hey, sir, can I have some more?
Or it can be eye candy on your desk. Either or.
I go for eye candy. I hate to say it, but I became one of those people that you build a system that looks pretty and you no longer want it tucked under the desk, because there was a reason why PCs were tucked under a desk. It was so you have your desk to use, right, primarily? Nope. I have my PC sitting to the left of me with the front facing me because of where the glass is, and all the cables sticking out. I just shoved them on the side of the desk just so I could see inside my PC for me. So, yep. I'm an eye candy person. I'm not afraid to admit it. And I do not feel like I need to go to a support group for it. So stop asking.
You sure about that?
Anyways.
So on to our next bit of AVA news. The Intel Optane bundle that we've got going has been extended.
Wait! What's Optane?
Optane's a beautiful technology, folks. So Optane, it allows you to increase the speed of a hard disk drive to kind of match almost SSD-like performance.
Man, that sounds super expensive, dude. I don't know.
Oh, it's actually pretty affordable.
Really?
Yeah.
How affordable?
Very. Cheaper than an SSD?
Like $35 on average affordable?
$35 is accurate.
Wow.
Yeah, $35. So the bundle has been extended to December 31st of this year.
Dude, so you guys only have 3 more months to take advantage of it, so you better, because with saving the money on having to buy an SSD for large capacity, like a 1 or 2 or 3 terabyte hard disk would be, you get $610 worth of free softwares.
Yep.
Free monies for a $30 item, $35 item, or maybe a $50 item if you want to increase that Optane capacity. Who knows? But, I mean, come on, guys. That's a no-brainer. Keep that in mind. Now we're going to move on to our next topic, and I'm going to go ahead and let you bring this up because you play this game more than I ever have. So I got to, like, the pre-downloading when you guys were playing this, and I decided, nope, I'm done, and deleted it and then went night-night.
So Rainbow Six Siege, we covered the new team killing offenses 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Oh no!
Somewhere around there. So to kind of get you guys back up to speed, in case you missed it, the new team killing offenses will result in an immediate ban as soon as you team kill somebody in casual or competitive. Now it's a temporary ban, starts off at 30 minutes, then it scales up an hour, 2 hours, then up to a week.
Yeah.
So now what's happening is players are requesting a forgiveness option. Basically, the system can be abused. Long story short, you know, you can be sitting there shooting an enemy on the other side of a corridor, and a teammate that may not like you could run in front of you and purposely die just to get you banned.
Wow.
So people are asking Ubisoft to put out a forgiveness button. Basically, you can click and say if it was an accidental kill or if it was a purposeful kill. So that'll kind of prevent some of the trolling. Now the problem is Ubisoft is not listening.
Well, I mean, that's not a shocker, for one, but still, you gotta wonder if any of these employees get these people complaining, like, please forgive me, I've done nothing wrong. Like, stop your graveling.
Well,
Ubisoft.
It's actually kind of surprising, though, because Ubisoft's actually very engaging with the Rainbow Six community.
Are they? It's a moneymaker for them. It's not like For Honor. I mean, For Honor's huge, right?
Yeah, right. No, they're very engaging. They usually listen to community feedback, and they'll do stuff about it instantly. But for some reason, people have been asking for this as a feature for 2 years since the game came out, and they've never said a single word about it. You good there, Joe?
Yep, just needed a stretch. Give it a little stretch.
Yeah, but they haven't said a single thing about it. They don't really seem to care to add it as a feature. So Who knows? But it would be nice to see that kind of thing. I don't know. What do you think about just general, forgiveness buttons in games where team killing is a thing anyways?
I think they should have like a 3-strike rule. If you do the same offense 3 times, doesn't matter how long it's been between you doing it, like you're gone. That's what I feel like. That more or less comes from my desire to see Bluehole take that kind of approach with the PUBG cheaters.
Yeah.
Because before they put a whole lot of emphasis on trying to fix those problems, there were people cheating left and right, using mods, using hacks, and they were probably doing it over and over and over again. And granted, it was probably people in Asia where it's become a business for you to farm games for items and then sell those on the gray market or like on eBay or something, right?
Yeah.
Or even in Steam when Steam started to support stuff like that. So they were just looking to try and get the fastest result so they could net the most results per day and then make, I don't know, 1,000 yen or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So it makes sense when you're looking at it from a business standpoint, but other than that, for the people that actually care to play the damn game and enjoy it, it's a turnoff. And so if you had a 3-strike rule, when you got those people that do this for a living to make money, it's a matter of time until they're gone.
Right.
Right? The only problem they had was that you had people that they were making so much money off of it, their account would get banned, like perma-banned, and they would just buy another copy of the game and make a new account. And that's why you saw like all the like Steven 3456778 because it was just randomized because they didn't care what their name was.
Yeah, and that also isn't really helped by G2A where you can go and buy games for almost half the cost or even 10% of the cost in some cases.
Wow. I'm going to circle back to some of these comments because I kind of went on a rant, right?
A little bit.
I was pointing out how fast they sell, though. I mean, yeah, that's true. RTX 2080 Ti cards do sell ridiculously fast. And we heard rumored that there were so many people that had demand for these cards compared to previous gen that usually us as a system integrator will be told a certain window of availability, and so far the consensus is that there's been absolutely no window of availability provided. It's basically first come, first serve. That's why if you go to our site and you look at the configurators that offer RTX cards, we're taking pre-orders for them so you can be next in queue essentially to receive them, because we're sending out purchase requests to manufacturers and our vendors so it's on file and they ship when able because of how quickly they're selling. There will come a time when that will probably die down a little bit and then we don't have to worry anymore, like most new things that come out in the industry, but still. And it's just in place to see what goes up and down with logs. That's it. Millions of PCs. PCs for me. Millions of PCs. PCs for free. Going to Stocknet. Gonna build a lot of PCs. All right, I'm done. Rudo M. Do you guys have any no high fructose corn syrup stickers in your PC? No, because even though high fructose corn syrup is bad for you, it's damn tasty. I wouldn't live without it. Does Octane work for my X470 Ryzen mobile? Probably. I'd be curious to see if we can make that work. I once hacked a Z87 motherboard to have PCI Express NVMe support.
Really?
Yeah, that was fun. I was building my nephew a PC and had a Z87 board, and I had an M.2 NVMe PCI Express SSD that I wasn't using, and I went to use it and realized, derp. Tried a PCI Express adapter, plugged it in, second derp, because there's no boot support for it. I started looking at like all the ways you could hack like the Windows bootloader to work with it, and ways that you could just, use it as a secondary and install Windows on it and no big deal.
All right. And
then I took it a step further. I started reading about how BIOS versions are able to provide introduced support after manufacturing. And a BIOS is no different than any other level of software. It is an interface. UEFI, for example, was kind of the first apparent adoption of that idea, I guess. So I just found a way to basically pull a BIOS version, get a BIOS tweaker, inject the Samsung NVMe drivers that I needed to even recognize it, and sure enough, when I flashed it, the flash was successful. I went into the BIOS and there was my NVMe.
That's pretty sweet.
Booted right off it. Z87 shouldn't happen, but it made it happen. Made it happen! And I should state that I did that on a personal level. That was nothing that AVADirect as a company condoned. This was me not knowing any better than to stop messing with things until I made things work. So
that's good. At least you got it working.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cards do go out of stock in 6 to 8 minutes, Regulus. You're not wrong. Yeah. It's literally, though, nothing is as bad as when these classic consoles go to sale, because that is like You don't even have to sell me on those classic consoles. You come out with the classic console, I want it, whether I use it enough or not. I mean, granted, my daughter started using the Nintendo Mini recently, so that's cool. But those go out of stock in seconds, literally seconds. It's ridiculous. And Newegg and Best Buy gets allocated min by minute. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, you helped them set up their system 10 years ago. That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
Minute by minute, that's got to use a lot of server resources, though, I'd imagine.
You know what else is pretty impressive?
What, Gerard?
The fact that the author of the Witcher series wants money from CD Projekt Red.
No! And you know what's even funnier about that, Gerard?
What?
There is an apparent law in his country, which is Poland, right?
Yeah.
So you could literally read the original article word for word.
I can, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a law in Poland that protects anybody against the event that you sell your property for. So let's say I have a computer that I sell to Gerard here for $15 because I'm like, I'm done with it. It's done what I needed it to do. You can have it for $15. Gerard then takes that $15 sale, that $15 PC, right, and decides to sell things on eBay with it. And at the end of the day, Gerard starts making $10,000 a month because he owns the PC I sold him. I can then turn around and say, hey, now that I've agreed to sell it to you for $15, you've made tens upon thousands of dollars off of my puny $15 sale. I'm entitled to more money. That is a legit law that Poland has for people that sell things, whether it be a face-to-face sale from Craigslist or it is like a legit, like lawyers are going to hash out the details and I'm selling you my property. That's what this is.
Yeah.
So this guy's trying to claim that out of there's a number here. I really wish I would have documented the number, but the reason why it's coming up to like $60 million in Poland money, which I don't know the name of it.
Złoty.
60 million złoty.
Yeah.
It's 16 million USD. They have banked like $600 million or something to that nature in USD.
Yeah.
So it's a very small percentage. And he's also claiming that when he sold his rights to the Witcher series to CD Projekt, it was only applicable to the first Witcher series. That they needed to go back to the drawing board and renegotiate the sale of his property, of his idea, for every Witcher series. So there's that too.
Yeah, and the funny part is too, he feels ripped off because he originally sold the rights for, I think, $9,500 was the number.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, that's his fault. You know, as much as I hate to say
I know
it
is
sounds harsh.
Dude, I know it is. If he was going to be concerned about how much money they were going to make off of his intellectual property, he should have put that in the agreement. Like, hey, and then moving forward, whatever sales you make based on this, I'm to get a 1% royalty, for example. That's why people in America and other countries, they keep that in mind, because while you are selling something that you feel is kind of worthless at that time, you could always give your idea to somebody else that knows what to do with it, and they will make millions off of it. Billions and billions and billions.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, he even stated outright that he feels, dumb for doing that he could not have foreseen the success. And I mean, granted, he probably couldn't have. I mean, I don't think anybody would have. Nobody really foresees their own success, right? Unless they're full of themselves. So, he kind of has a point, but at the same time, he doesn't.
Something Regulus brought to the table that I missed, apparently. I've read a couple articles. I didn't even know this. The law says that you cannot give up your rights on original works forever like he did. So if it's yours forever.
Yeah.
I guess is what it comes down to. The offer, he stated that he didn't think it would make any money, and his words were, I want to get my money out right away while you lose yours.
Yeah, he did say that.
So, okay, well, that's great, Regulus, that you found that quote, because that right there kind of proves that he had no intention to make any more money off him because he felt it was dying to begin with.
Yep.
Wow. Well, here's what it is, I guess. Live and learn. Best of luck to you, CD Projekt, because I really hope that this isn't the kind of lawsuit that's going to put you guys in a bind.
Yeah.
Because I really want to see Cyberpunk.
Regulus makes another good point. They actually offered him royalties, too.
Really?
Yeah, they did offer him royalties, and he turned them down.
Cool.
Yep.
So, I mean, he really has no ground to stand on then.
None. Absolutely none.
No ground to stand on. Well, on that note, we don't really have a whole lot of ground to stand on in time because we are out of it. So, I want to thank everybody for the time that they spent with us here in the live stream. apologize for the technical difficulties, but we blame you, Microsoft, for forcing Windows Update. And I guess now we're going to have to see about that Windows Update that stops you from having an interruption. So, until next week, see you later.
Goodbye.